Swiss Army knife, I want to make your end tight.
What up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
And I'm T-Bone.
And welcome, everybody, to today's video where we're going to rank the top 10 tight ends in the NFL. This is a combined list where we both wrote our own top 10 tight ends lists and then combined them together. And the averages of those lists made out the top 10 tight ends. So if you see any tight ends in a position where you don't think they belong, it's entirely T-Bone's fault. Now, before we jump into the video, just want to do a quick reminder. We're doing our Puppy of the Week segment beginning this fall. It'll be starting next week, next Wednesday, with our Week 1 Power Rankings video. So if you want to see your dogs featured on the channel, be sure to fill out the form. The link is posted down in the description. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. The number 10 tight end in the NFL is Dalton Schultz. Schultz coming off of a really impressive year last year, and he's looking primed to have another good year with the Houston Texans. Before he was with Houston, he was also with Dallas and was very productive there. He's been one of the most productive tight ends in the league for the last few years. T-Bone, your thoughts?
He has quietly made himself a very nice career. He's very solid. There's nothing, too bad about him. He's pretty good in the receiving option. He's pretty reliable, and on that Texans team, that's nice to have. On top of all the other weapons you have a reliable tight end. So I think that's great, and I think he's earned himself this spot.
Absolutely, I think especially with having Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Joe Mixon, someone's going to be open, and I think that's going to bode well for everybody, especially Dalton. Alrighty, our number 9 tight end in the NFL is Evan Ingram. Ingram had probably his best year last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars and has made a name for himself, and he's looking primed to have another big year this year as Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars look to turn it around. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's also pretty solid as a tight end. He did really well. I believe 2022 it was. Sort of had a few down years here and there, but honestly, once he got to Jacksonville, he really established himself. So I think that's where he's going to be most productive, and I think he has been pretty productive so far. If he sticks in Jacksonville and they, get a handle of their situation and don't, choke a division lead, Evan Ingram's going to serve him well.
Absolutely, and if they manage to make the playoffs, which I actually think is going to be a more difficult task than most expect for Jacksonville, I think he will definitely be a big reason why. Alrighty, the number 8 tight end in the NFL is Dalton Kincaid of the Buffalo Bills. Kincaid is coming off of a really good rookie year with Buffalo where he showed up and absolutely balled out for the Bills, and I expect him to play just as well this year, especially with, you got to think about both Diggs and Gabe Davis being gone. He's going to be one of the most familiar faces Josh Allen has to throw to, and the two developed a really good relationship in the passing game last year. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, you can really tell that they established a connection, which is probably going to be used a lot more considering a lot of the Buffalo weapons were taken away. But he was very, very efficient and very good, so I can only imagine him getting better as the years go on. So I think with his stuff last year, he's earned that spot.
Absolutely, and if he can be a threat in the red zone, an option for Josh Allen to throw to, that's going to really stretch out defenses too, and probably give Josh Allen more running room to scramble as well. Alrighty, the number 7 tight end in the NFL is Dallas Goedert. Goedert has been consistently very good for the Philadelphia Eagles. He has done nothing but show out and play great football for years now, and he's looking to continue to do that with the Philadelphia team looking to bounce back from a really rough end to the season. T-Bone, your thoughts?
don't let the less than stellar, tight end stats confuse. That's just the fact that that the Philadelphia Eagles have now Saquon Barkley, and they had DeAndre Swift. They've got AJ Brown, they've got Jalen Hurts, and they got Smith. So forgive Goedert's stats for not being so stellar. If the fact that he might be the fourth option and is still putting up excellent stats. He's a great tight end, blocking and passing. So I mean, I think he's just very skilled. I think he's been a very consistent, very nice piece to the Eagles. That's kind of is almost an unsung hero at times, in my opinion. So I definitely, and this is not me picking him in fantasy for the past 3 years, he's earned this spot all the way.
Absolutely, and so there's no bias. I did not pick him in fantasy. I also was pretty happy with the way he's played. So we both feel the same way about him. He's been very good for Philadelphia, and I think he'll continue to be an underrated weapon for them. And honestly, some people work best in the shadows. Alrighty, the number 6 tight end in the NFL is T.J. Hockenson. Hockenson broke out a couple of years ago with the Detroit Lions, was traded mid-season to the Vikings, and continued to put up big numbers in Minnesota. And he has been one of the biggest pass-catching targets for the quarterbacks in Minnesota, especially with the recent Justin Jefferson injury. And he has done nothing but show up and show out and be an excellent tight end for that team. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I really hate that he didn't find a lot of success. I mean, he was, statistically good, but he didn't find a lot of success on the Lions until he left, and that's when they got good. So, but I'm really hoping that the Vikings also do well enough because T.J. Hockenson deserves it. He's a very talented person, a very talented guy, and you can see, he's a very underrated pass-catching tight end. So, I think he's awesome. It does suck that Detroit is now doing better without him, but it's just one of those things. But, he's doing his own thing, and here's hoping the Vikes do all right.
Absolutely. And if the Vikings are going to find a measure of success this year, obviously with their starting quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, being out for the season, he is going to need to step up and be a part of it, and I fully believe that he can and will. Alrighty, our number 5 tight end in the NFL is David Njoku. Njoku has, for the last several years, been putting up excellent years with the Cleveland Browns. He has consistently showed up, balled out, been an absolute beast on the football field, and even off of it. Dude burned his face really badly last year and ended up showing up to the game with one of the most badass masks you've ever seen, and then went out and balled out hard. He is an excellent tight end. He is super fun to watch, and he is a huge reason why the Cleveland Browns have the success they do. T-Bone, your thoughts?
He just keeps getting better every year. I think he's stellar. Every year, more receptions, more yards, more touchdowns. I think it's just the older he gets, the better he's going to get. He's a great blocker, great passer, or great receiver. So he is the definition of just a very solid, well-rounded, tight end. I think he's very good. I think the Cleveland Browns are very lucky to have him and Nick Chubb both.
Absolutely. And if Cleveland is going to do well this year, I've said it a lot about these tight ends, but they're a big reason why their teams do well. And I think Njoku, especially, if they're going to have success, I think he's going to be a part of it, especially both in the passing and the run game. You got Chubb back there, you got Njoku blocking with that pretty good offensive line. It's going to be tough for teams to beat. Alrighty, our number 4 tight end in the NFL is Sam Laporta. Laporta is coming off of an absolutely excellent rookie season with the Detroit Lions. He was a huge part of their offensive resurgence last year and just showed up as a rookie and balled out from start to finish. So much fun to watch. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Most postseason receiving yards by a rookie tight end, most receptions by a rookie tight end, second team All-Pro, Pro Bowl, which doesn't mean a lot, but still, hailing from tight end university. If not for the fact that C.J. Stroud and Puka Nacua were in this class, Laporta would have, I think, just obliterated the rookie of the year ratings. It's just the fact that others had a historic year behind him. He is a very good tight end. I'm so happy that the Lions were able to find their guy from the jump. I only think he's going to get better with how many weapons the Lions are accruing. Um, I only think they can go up from here, and I only think he can go up from here with them. So he has absolutely earned his spot up here on this list, and I hazard a guess he might be even higher next year.
That's going to be a tough step to climb next year because your top three is a pretty impressive list. But if anyone's going to do it, I think Sam Laporta can. He's been excellent and only looking to go higher. Alrighty, our number 3 tight end in the NFL is Mark Andrews. Andrews has been excellent for the Baltimore Ravens for years. He has been maybe the number 1 pass-catching target for whichever quarterback happens to be playing for them. Obviously, with some recent injury issues, it's been between Lamar or Huntley or someone else, but either way, Andrews has just been consistently excellent for a very long time, an incredible receiving threat, solid blocker, and can just play the position really, really well. T-Bone, your thoughts?
He is, Mount Rushmore is 4 heads, but he is one of the 3, top 3 tight ends. Obviously, I don't have to say them. The other 2. We're going to say them. They've all been first-team All-Pros in the past 5 years. They've all been switching hands. They've all been doing good. They're all great options on their team. Mark Andrews is one of those guys. He really is. He's a very good receiving option for, whoever's playing, given certain injuries and whatnot. But he's good. He's good on a little bit of blocking. He's a good receiving threat, and he's very reliable. He has been extremely reliable for, his time with the Ravens.
Absolutely. And reliability and consistency are 2 things that will take you very far in the NFL, and that's allowed Andrews to be as successful as he has been, and I fully expect him to continue to be as amazing. Alrighty, our number 2 tight end in the NFL is Travis Kelce.
Bring on the booze. Let's hear him.
Kelce, coming off of a Super Bowl victory with the Kansas City Chiefs, although we have a few questions about that. More the game against Baltimore than anything else, but still. But that shouldn't take away from the fact that Kelce has consistently been an incredible receiving threat for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's so quick, he's so shifty, he always finds a way to get into that pocket of space where there's no defense, get open, and allow Mahomes to make a throw. And he has been a huge reason why the Chiefs have been as successful as they have been over the last 5 years. T-Bone, your thoughts?
He has been one of the most consistent receiving threats of all time on the Chiefs, of all time. Obviously, some people have him higher than all-time greats. I don't think he's quite there yet, but his excellence should not be understated. He is a great tight end, if not for, and he does block sometimes. We'll say that. Sometimes people are like, he does block sometimes. But, his bread and butter is receiving, and you can see that. He is an excellent receiving threat.
Absolutely. He's been consistently excellent since even before the days of Patrick Mahomes. He's been something that defenses have always had to worry about, always had to think about, and then he finds a way to make the defense forget about him while they're trying to think about him, and it's part of the reason why he's just been so lethal. And finally, our number 1 tight end in the NFL, it's going to be George Kittle. Kittle coming off of a tough Super Bowl loss with the San Francisco 49ers, where he was a key piece on an absolutely loaded roster. And I think is one of the most underrated tight ends in the NFL. Kelce has the best receiving numbers. Kittle's receiving numbers are not that far behind Kelce's. And what makes Kittle better than Kelce is the fact that he can block like a tackle pretty much. The only tight end I can think of who, during just the general 2010s era, who was a better blocker than George Kittle is Rob Gronkowski. And that is an elite room to be in. Kittle continues to be a receiving threat, and a big reason why he doesn't have the numbers that Kelce has is because the 49ers have other weapons to give the ball to, so his numbers don't go as high, but he still gets really good numbers that aren't far behind Travis Kelce's, and he absolutely blocks like a beast, and it's a big reason why McCaffrey and that run game have the success they do. T-Bone, your thoughts?
That's what it is. It's similar situation to Dallas Goedert. They've got just so many weapons. They don't have to abuse him. Not saying that Travis Kelce or any of these guys are abused, but he doesn't have to be the number one option. That's sort of what, the excellence is of the 49ers. On any given night, the number one guy can take a step back, take a rest. They can afford that. And like you said, the receiving numbers are less than Travis Kelce, but they're not far behind. And think about how many snaps that he takes blocking. That's insane. It's insane what he is able to do. And I mean, I think it was last year, the year before, saw a one-handed catch. I think de facto blocking and receiving, jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife guy, tight end, top tight end, I would say it's George Kittle.
Absolutely. He's just a truly impressive player, an absolute professional. And quite frankly, Travis Kelce is a bottom half of the league blocker in the tight end position, but he more than makes up for it with his receiving threats. But the best all-round and overall tight end is just George Kittle. He's just excellent, and I fully expect him to have another brilliant year with the San Francisco 49ers. Alrighty, folks, there you have it. That is our top 10 tight end list. Please let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Feel free to drop your own tight end list or whatever else you want. We would love to hear what you all have to say. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.